Imagine stumbling upon a device so intricate, so precise in its mechanical genius, that it could forecast the movements of the sun, moon, and planets with astonishing accuracy. Yet it was crafted over 2,000 years ago by hands that mainstream history tells us lacked the tools or knowledge for such a feat. What if I told you that scattered across our planet, hidden in dusty museum cases or pulled from the depths of ancient shipwrecks and forgotten tombs, lie objects like this one that don't just challenge what we think we know about human progress, but outright shatter the conventional timeline of civilization? These are the OOPArts, the out-of-place artifacts, relics that seem to whisper of technologies handed down by the gods themselves, or crafted by super-advanced societies that thrived long before the dawn of recorded history as we understand it. Welcome to a journey into the unknown, where the line between myth and reality blurs into something extraordinary. In this video, we're uncovering the technology of the gods through 10 mind-bending OOPArts that demonstrate the existence of civilizations far more sophisticated than anything our textbooks have prepared us for. From mechanical marvels that rival modern computers to batteries that lit up the ancient world and even objects that defy the very laws of time itself, each discovery we'll explore today will leave you questioning everything. If you're as fascinated by lost knowledge, ancient mysteries, and the possibility that humanity once touched the stars with its ingenuity as I am, then do me a huge favor right now. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an upload. We're going deep on this one, and by the time we reach the final artifact, you might just see human history in a completely new light. Stick with me through all 10, because the revelations build on each other, and the last one is the kind of anomaly that could rewrite entire chapters of our past. Let's dive right in and meet the first piece of divine engineering that still baffles experts today. Picture this. The year is 1901, and a group of sponge divers off the rocky coast of a tiny Greek island called Antikythera are plunging into the Mediterranean depths when they stumble upon the wreck of an ancient Roman ship. Amid the barnacle-encrusted cargo of statues and coins, they haul up a corroded lump of bronze and wood that looks like nothing more than scrap. But when scientists finally clean and study it decades later, they uncover something revolutionary. An intricate assembly of at least 37 interlocking gears, dials, and pointers housed in a wooden box the size of a shoebox. This is the Antikythera mechanism, and it functions as the world's first known analog computer, capable of predicting astronomical positions and eclipses with pinpoint precision, tracking the cycles of the Olympic Games, and even simulating the irregular orbit of the moon. Crafted around 150 to 100 BC, its gears mesh with a complexity that wouldn't be seen again until the medieval period, and its differential gearing system, a concept thought to have been invented in the 16th century, allows it to account for the elliptical paths of celestial bodies. Mainstream archaeologists attribute it to brilliant Greek minds, like those influenced by Archimedes. But even they admit the level of sophistication suggests a lost tradition of advanced engineering passed down through generations. What if this wasn't just a one-off invention, but a surviving fragment of a much older technological heritage from a civilization that understood the cosmos in ways we only rediscovered centuries later? Imagine the implications. If the ancients could build this, what other machines of the gods might have been lost to time, perhaps powering entire societies or guiding voyages across uncharted oceans? The mechanism doesn't just calculate, it embodies a worldview where mathematics and mechanics intertwined with the divine, hinting that our ancestors weren't stumbling in the dark, but operating under knowledge that could only come from a super-advanced source, whether divine intervention or a forgotten empire whose remnants we are only now beginning to piece together. While the Antikythera mechanism dazzles us with its command over the heavens, another artifact shifts our focus to something even more elemental, the power of electricity itself, harnessed in an era when we were told fire and simple tools ruled the day. Discovered in 1936 near the village of Kujut Rabu just outside Baghdad, in what was once ancient Parthia or Sassanid Persia, the Baghdad battery consists of a simple yet ingenious assembly: a 5-inch clay jar, a copper cylinder sealed inside it with asphalt, and an iron rod suspended within the cylinder. When archaeologists examined it, they noticed the components matched exactly the setup for a galvanic cell, the basic principle behind modern batteries. Replicas filled with an electrolyte like vinegar or citrus juice have produced steady voltages of up to 1 volt, enough to electroplate jewelry or perhaps even provide a mild therapeutic shock for medicinal purposes in ancient rituals. Dating back to around 250 BC to 250 AD, this device appears centuries before Alessandro Volta is credited with inventing the battery in 1800. Skeptics argue it might have been used for storing scrolls or as a simple votive object. But why the precise combination of metals that generates current, if not intentional? Proponents of ancient advanced civilizations point out that this technology could explain the mysterious electroplated artifacts found across the region and even fuel theories of lighting systems in temples that would have seemed miraculous to worshippers. Could this have been part of the gods' toolkit, gifted to early humans to illuminate sacred spaces or power early experiments in metallurgy? The Baghdad battery doesn't stand alone. It connects dots across continents, suggesting that knowledge of electricity wasn't a modern miracle, but a rediscovery of something our forebears understood intimately. Perhaps as a legacy from a time when super-advanced societies wielded forces of nature with effortless precision. Building on that spark of ancient electricity, our exploration leads us to the sun-baked temples of Egypt, where wall reliefs in the Temple of Hathor at Dendera depict something that looks startlingly like modern light bulbs. Carved into the stone around 50 BC, these intricate scenes show elongated, bulb-shaped objects with filaments inside, cradled by lotus flowers and connected by what appear to be cables, while figures hold DJed pillars that resemble high-voltage insulators. The reliefs even include a small baboon-like figure symbolizing protection from radiation or electrical discharge. Fringe researchers have long argued these are evidence of electric lighting used by ancient Egyptians to work deep inside dark tombs and pyramids without soot marks from torches, something archaeologists have struggled to explain. Experiments with replicas connected to Baghdad-style batteries have successfully lit up similar bulbs using noble gases like those in modern fluorescent tubes, producing a soft glow that would have allowed artisans to paint and carve with incredible detail. Mainstream Egyptologists insist these are symbolic representations of creation myths involving the lotus and the god Amun, but the technical accuracy, right down to the filament structure and cable-like lines, raises eyebrows. If the ancients truly possessed electric technology, it transforms our view of pharaonic Egypt from a society of stone and sweat into one potentially illuminated by the gods' own fire. This wasn't primitive ingenuity. It was advanced engineering that could have powered an entire civilization, perhaps inherited from an even older source that understood electromagnetism long before we did. The Dendera lights invite us to picture torch-free corridors glowing with divine energy, where priests and builders worked under lights that never flickered or smoked, a technology so pure it feels otherworldly. From the glowing mysteries of Egypt, the trail of these divine technologies takes a fascinating turn toward the skies with an artifact that seems designed for flight itself. Unearthed in 1898 from a tomb near Saqqara, Egypt, and dating to approximately 200 BC, the Saqqara bird is a small wooden model shaped like a glider or bird of prey, complete with a vertical stabilizer on its tail that gives it remarkable aerodynamic properties. When tested in modern wind tunnels and even launched by enthusiasts, the model glides smoothly for significant distances, suggesting it wasn't just a toy or religious symbol, but a scaled prototype for understanding lift and flight. Ancient Egyptians left behind countless bird figurines, yet this one stands out with its precise wing angles and tail design that mirror modern aircraft stabilizers, features not replicated in aviation until the 20th century. Could this have been inspired by larger flying machines from a lost era, perhaps the vimanas described in ancient Indian texts, or vehicles piloted by gods descending from the heavens? The implications are staggering. If the Egyptians were experimenting with aerodynamics this early, it points to a body of knowledge about physics and engineering that mainstream history attributes to much later inventors like the Wright brothers. This little wooden wonder doesn't just suggest advanced understanding. It hints at practical applications, maybe reconnaissance or ceremonial flights powered by technologies we can only guess at today. As we move forward, remember that each artifact builds a bigger picture of civilizations that didn't merely survive but soared, both literally and figuratively, under the guidance of superior wisdom. Half a world away from the sands of Egypt, in the pre-Columbian graves of Colombia's Quimbaya culture, around 1000 AD, gold figurines have been discovered that look uncannily like modern jets, complete with delta wings, tail stabilizers, and fuselage shapes that scream aviation rather than birds or insects. These Quimbaya airplanes, as they're often called, number in the dozens and were crafted with incredible precision using techniques that allowed for intricate detailing in solid gold. When enthusiasts built scaled-up models with engines, several flew perfectly, demonstrating aerodynamic stability that shouldn't have been possible without wind tunnel testing or advanced knowledge of airflow. Traditional archaeologists classify them as stylized animals or insects, yet their resemblance to contemporary fighter jets and commercial aircraft is too striking to dismiss lightly, especially when similar golden models appear in other South American cultures. What if these were replicas of actual flying machines used by a super-advanced society, perhaps survivors of a cataclysm who shared their technology with local tribes? The gods of the sky, descending in metallic birds to impart knowledge, suddenly feel less like myth and more like memory preserved in precious metal. These artifacts force us to reconsider transoceanic contact or even a global network of advanced civilizations exchanging ideas about flight long before the supposed invention of the airplane. The Quimbaya pieces aren't isolated curiosities. They connect to the Saqqara bird and beyond, painting a portrait of humanity that once commanded the air with divine grace. Shifting from the skies back to the earth, another OOPArt reveals mastery over materials that defies corrosion and time in ways that modern metallurgy still struggles to replicate fully. Standing proudly in the courtyard of the Qutb Minor Complex in Delhi, India, the Iron Pillar of Delhi rises over 23 feet tall and weighs more than 6 tons, forged from nearly pure iron around 400 AD. What makes it extraordinary is that after more than 1,600 years exposed to the elements, including monsoon rains and pollution, it shows virtually no rust, only a thin protective patina. Chemical analysis reveals a unique composition with high phosphorus content that creates a self-healing oxide layer, a technique not matched until the 20th century. Inscriptions on the pillar praise a king, but the forging process required temperatures and precision that challenge what we believe ancient blacksmiths could achieve without industrial furnaces. Theories abound that this pillar was part of a larger technological tradition from a lost Indian civilization, perhaps one influenced by extraterrestrial or divine guidance that understood corrosion resistance on a molecular level. Imagine entire temples or weapons crafted with this God-given metallurgy, impervious to decay and built to last millennia. The Iron Pillar doesn't just stand as a monument, it stands as proof that ancient peoples possessed scientific knowledge of chemistry and materials science far beyond the Bronze or Iron Age labels we assign them, echoing the technologies of the gods that could have sustained empires we have yet to fully discover. Our journey through these relics now ventures into the realm of mapping the unknown, where a single document redraws the boundaries of what ancient cartographers could possibly know. Compiled in 1513 by the Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis from even older source maps, the Piri Reis map depicts not only the coasts of Europe, Africa, and the Americas with remarkable accuracy, but also the outline of Antarctica, complete with mountain ranges and rivers, centuries before the continent was officially discovered in 1820, and long before ice-penetrating radar revealed its subglacial topography. The map's projection and details suggest it was copied from source materials that must have been created by a civilization capable of advanced surveying, perhaps one that explored the globe when Antarctica was ice-free thousands of years earlier. Mainstream explanations credit it to Portuguese explorations or lucky guesses, yet the precision and inclusion of latitudes that required spherical trigonometry pushed the limits of known 16th-century tools. If this map is evidence of inherited knowledge from a super-advanced predecessor society, it implies a global seafaring culture with technologies for navigation and exploration that rival GPS today. The gods, it seems, provided charts that guided explorers across oceans and through time itself, preserving secrets of a world far older and more connected than history textbooks dare admit. This artifact ties together the mechanical wonders and electrical insights we've seen, suggesting a unified body of lost science that spanned continents. As the mapped world expands in our minds, we return to monumental evidence of construction that seems to require machinery or levitation beyond ancient capabilities. Deep in the Bolivian highlands at Puma Punku, part of the Tiwanaku complex and dating back potentially 17,000 years or more, according to some geological assessments, lie massive andesite blocks cut with laser-like precision, interlocking H-shaped joints, perfectly drilled holes, and surfaces flat to within fractions of a millimeter. These stones weigh up to 100 tons each and were quarried miles away, yet no tool marks from copper chisels appear, and replicating the work with modern diamond saws is challenging enough. Theories propose sonic tools or even anti-gravity devices wielded by gods to position these blocks into a structure whose purpose remains enigmatic, but whose engineering screams advanced civilization. Mainstream dating places the site within known Andean cultures, but the precision and scale suggest knowledge transferred from an earlier, superior source. Puma Punku isn't just ruins, it's a testament to builders who treated stone like clay, shaping it with divine technology that made megalithic wonders possible long before the pyramids of Egypt rose. Nearby in Lebanon, the trilithon at Baalbek elevates this mystery to colossal proportions, with 3 enormous limestone blocks, each weighing around 800 to 1,000 tons, fitted into a platform beneath a Roman temple. How these behemoths were quarried, transported uphill, and positioned with millimeter accuracy remains unexplained by conventional methods, as even today's heaviest cranes strain under similar loads. Ancient legends speak of giants or gods building the site as a landing platform, and the precision implies techniques involving sound waves, electromagnetism, or lost lifting devices from a super-advanced era. Baalbek's foundations predate the Romans by millennia, hinting at a foundational civilization whose technology allowed them to move mountains literally under the guidance of forces we can only call divine. The trail of these godlike achievements leads us to an object that seems plucked straight from a modern toolbox, yet embedded in rock far older than humanity itself. Found in 1934 near London, Texas, the London hammer is an iron hammer with a wooden handle, partially encased in a concretion of limestone and sandstone. Dated by some geologists to 100 million years old, the iron head shows no rust despite its supposed age, and the handle's internal structure matches modern designs. While skeptics point to recent formation of the concretion around a 19th century tool dropped in a quarry, the artifact's discovery context and the impossibility of rapid mineralization fuel theories of time-displaced technology from an advanced civilization that existed when dinosaurs roamed. This OOPArt collapses timelines, suggesting that the technology of the gods might not be confined to ancient history, but echoes from deep time, perhaps from visitors or survivors, whose relics occasionally surface to remind us of forgotten epochs. Finally, we arrive at one of the most perplexing pieces in our collection, an object that blends metallurgy with prehistoric bones in a way that defies every conventional explanation. Discovered in 1974 near Aiud, Romania, the Aiud aluminum wedge was found alongside mastodon bones estimated at 400,000 years old. The wedge itself is made of nearly pure aluminum, a metal not isolated until 1825 and requiring complex electrolysis to produce industrially. Covered in a thick oxide layer consistent with extreme age, it shows machining marks and a shape reminiscent of a landing gear foot or aircraft component. Romanian scientists have confirmed its authenticity and ancient patina, yet no known civilization from that era could have forged aluminum. This wedge stands as the ultimate demonstration of super-advanced technology, perhaps from extraterrestrial gods or a lost civilization predating known humanity by hundreds of thousands of years, left behind and preserved through the ages until modern hands unearthed it. So here we stand, having journeyed through 10 extraordinary OOPArts that collectively weave a tapestry of lost knowledge far richer and more advanced than anything conventional history allows. From the celestial computations of the Antikythera mechanism to the electric sparks of the Baghdad battery, the illuminating secrets of Dendera, the soaring promise of the Saqqara bird and Quimbaya airplanes, the rust-defying mastery of the iron pillar, the global visions on the Piri-Reis map, the precision engineering at Puma, Punku and Baalbek, the temporal anomaly of the London hammer, and the prehistoric metallurgy of the Aiud wedge. These relics don't merely exist as curiosities. They demonstrate the existence of super-advanced civilizations, perhaps guided by the gods themselves, whose technologies shaped our world in ways we are only now beginning to comprehend. Our ancestors weren't primitives. They were heirs to a legacy of divine innovation that could calculate the stars, harness lightning, fly through the skies, map unseen continents, and build monuments that defy physics. If these artifacts prove anything, it's that history is far stranger and more magnificent than we ever imagined. Which one resonated with you the most? The mechanical wonder or the impossible aluminum relic? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if your mind is blown. Subscribe for more explorations into the world's greatest mysteries, and share this video with fellow truth seekers. Turn on notifications so you catch our next deep dive, because the story of humanity's hidden past is just getting started. Until then, keep questioning, keep wondering, and remember, the technology of the gods might still be waiting to be rediscovered. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.